Roger Binny's BCCI Presidency. Age cap controversy explained. Imagine a scenario where the leader of one of the most powerful cricket boards in the world is suddenly faced with the possibility of being ousted from their position, not due to any scandal or misconduct, but simply because of their age. This is exactly what's happening with Roger Binny, the president of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, BCCI, who recently celebrated his 70th birthday. According to the Supreme Court-approved BCCI Constitution, no office-bearer is allowed to continue in their role once they reach the age of 70, which means Binny is technically disqualified from holding the position. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite this clear-cut rule, the post of president hasn't been officially vacated yet, leaving everyone wondering what's going to happen next. And this is the part most people miss. The fact that Vice President Rajiv Shukla, who is next in line to take over, is still waiting for clarity from the BCCI's top brass before making any moves. So, is Binny disqualified or just in a holding pattern? The answer to this question is not as straightforward as it seems. While the Constitution appears to be clear on the matter, insiders close to Binny suggest that he might be allowed to continue in an informal capacity until the BCCI's annual general meeting, AGM, in September. This is because no official documents need to be signed until then, which means he could theoretically serve in a caretaker role. But what about the National Sports Governance Bill, which is set to be tabled in the ongoing monsoon session of Parliament? This bill proposes raising the age limit for office-bearers in national sports federations from 70 to 75, which could be the lifeline Binny needs to continue in his role. If the bill passes before any leadership change is formalized, Binny's age would no longer be a disqualifying factor, and he could potentially serve a fresh 3-year term. The BCCI's internal discussions are reportedly weighing two immediate options: appointing Rajiv Shukla as interim president until the AGM in September, or waiting for the sports bill to be passed and revalidating Binny's continuation. But there's also an emotional and symbolic factor at play here. A growing sentiment within the BCCI hierarchy suggests that the role of president should remain with a former India cricketer, which could heavily influence future selections. This raises an important question. Should the BCCI prioritize continuity and experience, or is it time for a fresh perspective? The answer to this question is not just crucial for the future of Indian cricket, but also for the governance of sports in India as a whole. The looming sports bill may herald a shift in how sports administration is governed in India, bringing uniformity and modernity to outdated federation laws. So, what do you think? Should Roger Binny be allowed to continue as president of the BCCI? Or is it time for a change? Share your thoughts in the comments below. One thing is certain, though, this is a defining moment for Indian cricket governance, and the outcome will have far-reaching consequences for the sport. As we wait with bated breath to see what happens next, one thing is clear. The future of Indian cricket is at a crossroads, and the path it takes will depend on the decisions made by the BCCI in the coming weeks. BCCI President Roger Binny's future uncertain. Will sports bill allow him to continue beyond 70? The BCCI faces a dilemma as its president. Roger Binny turns 70. Will they allow him to continue beyond the age limit set by the Lodha Committee? The upcoming sports bill may change the game, as it proposes to increase the age cap for sports administrators from 70 to 75. While the BCCI doesn't rely on government grants, it may adhere to the new bill with Indian cricket teams set to participate in the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Binny's fate hangs in the balance, as the BCCI decides whether to elevate Vice President Rajiv Shukla or wait for the sports bill to take effect. Some believe the president's post should be held by a former Indian cricketer of repute, like Sourav Ganguly or Binny. The controversy sparks debate. Should age limits be imposed on sports administrators, or should experience and expertise take precedence? Roger Binny, the silent swinging legend of Indian cricket. #### Roger Binny, the unsung hero who mastered the art of swing. Roger Michael Humphrey Binny is a name that deserves a prominent place on any honors board celebrating the history of Indian cricket. This modest and soft-spoken Anglo-Indian, with roots tracing back to Scotland, made his mark as the leading wicket-taker during India's triumphant World Cup campaign in 1983. Remarkably, It took another 24 years for Team India to achieve a similar feat under the captaincy of Mahendra Singh Dhoni in South Africa. While his impressive tally of 18 wickets from 8 matches is noteworthy, it only scratches the surface of Binny's exceptional right-arm swing bowling prowess. He skillfully challenged and outsmarted every top batsman of his era, including legends like Vivian Richards and other notable players such as Alan Border from Australia and Chris Tavares from England. Advertisement. That summer in England truly belonged to India's swing bowlers, with Kapil Dev leading the charge and supported by Roger Binny, Madan Lal, who claimed 17 wickets, making him the second highest wicket-taker, ballwinder Sandhu, and the crafty deliveries of Mohinder Jimmy Amarnath. For those fortunate enough to tune into the radio commentary during the early matches, Binny's sharp outswinger that dismissed Vivian Richards in India's opening match against the West Indies at Old Trafford on June 9, 1983, remains unforgettable. The West Indian star had been in fine form the night before when rain interrupted play. However, when the match resumed the following morning, a time when matches often had an extra day, Binny managed to dismiss Richards in the very first over, a pivotal moment that likely set the stage for India's remarkable journey to victory. Advertisement. Throughout the 6 preliminary matches, the Indian medium pacers played a crucial role in determining the outcomes. In the 2 matches where they faltered, India faced heavy defeats against the West Indies, in their rematch and Australia, putting them at serious risk of elimination. In the subsequent matches, while Kapil Dev's iconic innings of 175 not out against Zimbabwe made headlines, it was Roger Binny who shone in the match against Australia, earning the title of man of the match with a stellar performance that included 4 wickets. Not only did he contribute 21 runs to India's total of 247, but he also dismantled the Australian batting lineup, reducing them to 52-4 by taking out Graham Wood, Graham Yallop, and David Hookes with minimal runs conceded. India emerged victorious by a staggering 118 runs, a sweet revenge for their earlier 162-run defeat to Australia. What followed was nothing short of a fairy tale, with Binny playing a significant role in it. He ended the stubborn resistance of England's openers Graham Fowler and Chris Tavares in the semi-finals before delivering the decisive blow in the finals by dismissing Captain Clive Lloyd. Advertisement. It would be a mistake to assume that Roger Binny's cricketing journey began and ended with the World Cup. During the 1977-78 Ranji Trophy season, Binny, who opened both the batting and bowling for Karnataka, formed a formidable partnership with Sanjay Desai, scoring an unbeaten 451 runs for the opening wicket, a record that stood for many years. He was among the select few who could open both the batting and bowling for his state team, and he was also an exceptional fielder both in the inner ring and the outfield. His ability to pick up the ball and throw it in one fluid motion was ahead of its time, especially considering that India lacked quality outfields during that era. Another highlight of his career was his best test bowling performance of 5-40 against England at Leeds in the summer of 1986, which led to India achieving a massive 279-run victory, still the largest margin of victory for India against England in terms of runs. Advertisement. A lesser-known aspect of Binny's career is that after retiring from cricket, he transitioned into coaching and successfully led the Indian under-19 cricket team to the World Cup, a tournament that unveiled talents like Mohammad Kaif and Yuvraj Singh. He also played a significant role in shaping the careers of players such as Irfan Pathan, Robin Uthappa, and Ambati Rayudu while coaching at the under-16 level. After gaining experience at the grassroots level and holding various administrative roles with the Karnataka State Cricket Association, KSCA, Roger Binny ascended to the position of president of the BCCI, succeeding the legendary Sourav Ganguly. As an administrator, he adeptly balanced the demands of both white and red ball cricket, leading Team India to yet another World Cup victory, the T20 title in the West Indies last year, followed by the Champions Trophy shortly thereafter. In all these achievements, Binny has remained a humble figure, often choosing to stay in the background, never seeking the spotlight for himself or his accomplishments. Happy birthday, Roger! Your contributions to cricket have made the sport proud. Also read, From Lord's Balconies to Fan Thrills. How the India-England series is breathing new life into Test cricket. https://newsonline.com/sports/ From Lord's Balconies to Fan Thrills. How the India-England series is breathing new life into Test cricket / #### about the author. Raj Narayan. https://news24online.com/author/Raj-Narayan. Raj Narayan began his career as a journalist with PTI for 15 years before transitioning into the digital media landscape as a content marketer. He established and managed digital teams for leading brands in the satellite television industry. Currently, Raj works as a digital consultant and dedicates his free time to his passion for writing about technology, sports, and cinema. Based in Bengaluru, he often finds himself at his farm in Vaynad, Kerala. He can be reached at raj@onlineobelix.com. Read more, https://news24online.com/author/Raj-Narayan.